Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A leading up to tonight's premiere for the big one, The Walking Dead Season 7 Mid-Season Finale, Episode 8, Hearts Still Beating. And spoiler warning if you haven't seen Episode 7. I feel like there's not as much buzz as there usually is for Walking Dead right now. After the premiere, a few episodes in, it's like a lot of the buzz was gone. Episode 7 got some of it back, but I still feel like there's quite a bit of buzz that's kind of been missing from the show after the premiere. Maybe some people just got deaded out, so to speak. So the topic for this one to start, before we get into your guys' other questions, is going to be, what do I think about Spencer, and is he right about Rick? Is Rick actually a bad leader? And for this one, I would say simply no. I think that Spencer is very misguided here. He blames Rick for the zombie apocalypse, I would say. He blames Rick for the world they live in. I mean, if it was not for Rick, if you think about all the different obstacles that he's helped the Alexandrians face and those who are still alive from Alexandria, I mean, if you think about the wolves, if you think about the No Way Out zombie herd, if you think about Negan and the others that are around, a lot of these events would have most likely taken place sooner or later. You know, the wolves would have found Alexandria sooner or later. They may not have found them at that moment, but I'm sure they would find them at some point. If the zombie herd was able to get out with when the one of the big trucks or whatever moved, if they would have headed towards Alexandria, that would have been it for them. They probably all would have died, and I don't think almost any of them would have been able to get out of there alive. So it's, unless the walls were able to hold up against the massive herd, which I don't think they would have been able to do. It's really tough to say, but I would say most likely there would be even fewer Alexandrians alive should a group like the wolves, or Negan or the zombie herd have come in on the Alexandrians without Rick and the rest of the group there to help. I mean, if you guys consider it, who would win, Deanna and the Alexandrians versus the wolves? I'm going to go with the wolves, definitely. I mean, I know that Alexandria, they had a few people there that could fight, like Aaron and some of the others. There's a few, but, oh man, I mean, the wolves were ready to go, and they were pretty sneaky. They were pretty tough. If it was not for Rick and the others, I think they might have been the end of Alexandria right then and there. So, Rick, to me, I don't think he's a bad leader. If you look at Rick throughout the series, sure, I mean, there's some things here and there he's done that, in hindsight, being 2020, probably weren't the best decisions, some of the stuff that he did. But he's been able to keep majority of the people alive that he's been around, or a lot of the people alive. Maybe I shouldn't say majority, because a lot of people have died. But that's kind of the world that they live in. It's a zombie apocalypse, and people are going to die. That's just how it is. I think he's done his best all the way through, and I do not think that Spencer would be able to do any better at all. I think he'd do far worse. So those are my thoughts on that. We'll see how that kind of materializes tonight, or if anything happens with that, with Spencer, and when Rick finally gets back and sees that Negan, it's kind of like Negan is the leader right now, because Rick and the others have surrendered to Negan and the Saviors. Good stuff. But you guys can write your comments below. What do you think about Rick's leadership throughout the series so far? Do you think Spencer is misguided like I do, or do you think he might actually have a point, and maybe things would have been better if if somebody like Rick wasn't in charge, and maybe it was somebody else like, I don't know, Shane or Spencer, something like that. Next question is from Abdullah Al-Ammar. He says, "Hey Trev, in the promo, Richard said to Morgan and Carol that the Saviors could not be trusted, and then Morgan replied, 'What do you suggest we do?' So he gave Carol the look. What I think is he's meaning we should team up the Kingdom and Alexandria together against the Saviors. What do you think?" So, yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we're starting to see here, and I think that Richard is actually maybe a standout character from the Kingdom. He is sort of a character in the comics, but he's not really, like some characters in the comics. They're there, but they're not really standouts. Like, they're not memorable, and I think that Richard from the TV series could actually be someone from the Kingdom that is somewhat memorable. The only thing is, we have so many characters kind of being pushed at us this half, and tons of different things happening everywhere. It's hard to keep track of everybody. If anybody forgets, Richard is the tainted meat guy with the idea that got in the fight with the Savior and had to let the Savior beat him up. Really cool guy. Kind of looks like David Morrissey a little bit. Some people, especially people of other races, might see that even more so. That's called interracial bias in psychology. You can look that up. It means that people have a difficulty telling those apart of other nationalities. It's a real thing too. You can look that up. It's funny. Interracial bias is called. But he's a cool character. I do like Richard, and I like his angle. I like his ideas. He's pretty crafty. He's pretty clever, it seems. And he's definitely somebody that I think you'd want to have on your side, even if you're outnumbered like crazy. Because we'll see, maybe the tainted meat idea will work, and all of a sudden we'll see a scene with the Saviors where they all start getting sick. And next thing you know, like a whole bunch of them die off from being sick or something. That would be sweet. But yeah, we should start to see the groups kind of communicate and start to team up. We already know the Hilltop is kind of on our side as well, because Maggie is kind of there. Jesus is on her side, and she's already kind of started to take over the Hilltop. So you got Alexandria, you got the Hilltop, other groups out there like Oceanside and Kingdom. If the Kingdom joins the fray, then you've got 3. And even though the Saviors have tons of numbers, once you start to join all these together, you start to see a possible resistance here. March to war, so to speak. So we'll see. Andy Guadalupe says Michael E. Satrazemis is directing the Sunday night's mid-season finale, Season 7, Episode 8, Heart Still Beating. He's directed episodes The Grove, Slabtown, Try, Start to Finish, Knots Untie, East, and Swear. Thoughts, Trev? So great comment from you, Andy. As usual, always sends great questions and stuff. Love to include them. I love his work, man. I really love his work. As I've said before, with many of his episodes, some of the standouts from him are he uses music probably better than almost anybody. I really like his choice of music that he uses for montages and just to really set the mood and really drive home some memorable sequences. Like, for example, Start to Finish. Part of what makes No Way Out my favorite episode of The Walking Dead ever is the start to finish setup in it. I mean, it's really great. You've got the Deanna death, and you've got the sound over top of it. I mean, the music is just great. It's like classic zombie, maybe Romero Dead stuff with just like a modern, heightened scale. And man, he kills it, dude. He absolutely kills it. He's one of my favorite directors for Walking Dead for sure. And I really look forward to his episodes because I think he does a tremendous job, and some of his are some of the best in the series. Plus, Ernest Dickerson does not seem to be directing Walking Dead anymore at all. It's been a while since he's directed one, so I think we can pretty much assume. I don't know the details behind that, but nothing's been said in interviews, but he's not doing anymore, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But Satrazemis is one of the best, and then of course Greg Nicotero is incredible as well too. But yeah, I really like Satrazemis' work, particularly the music. So heads up for tonight, guys. Keep an ear out for some of the great sequences that he might use with some good music, especially near the end. That's what I'm looking forward to. So he's definitely an asset to the show. I hope they don't lose him because I love his episodes. I think they really have a good feel, a good flow, and some memorable moments in them. Next one's from Wavazano, who says, you running low on sleep, Trev? Well, I'm always running low on sleep, brother. Always. You know this, man. Next one's from Dean Early. He says, Q&A, Trev, do you think it's possible for Michonne to find Daryl as he is trying to escape? And that's actually a good call out. I didn't think about that. But you're right. That's another possibility too, is that maybe Michonne could run into Daryl. The thing is, right now, there are so many characters all over the place. There's so much craziness going on. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It's like, is Jesus most likely to find Daryl? Probably. Is it possible that Michonne could? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's possible anyway. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of characters all over the place. And The Walking Dead has grown. In terms of scale, it's grown after Negan. So I'm really looking forward to the future of the series, getting to see all this different stuff happening. And, I'm still holding out. I'm still thinking that the best parts of the Walking Dead television series are still yet to come. I do think so. So we'll see. But I still think that eventually we will see some better stuff than we've seen before. Some stuff that even surpasses No Way Out, No Sanctuary, and Too Far Gone, some of the earlier episodes. Radical Z says, or Radical Z says, "Hey Trev, I have a prediction for the second half of The Walking Dead Season 7. I believe the second half will be March to War and will likely incorporate the ocean side into the mix as well." So you're probably right, and I do agree as well, too, that in the TV series version, they could use the girls, the women of the Oceanside, as an asset as well. If Tara tells Rick about them and about their numbers and their weaponry, he could be like, oh man, we have to offer them an opportunity to get retribution against the Saviors and Negan for what they did to their men. With all the weaponry they have and everything, I mean, and their numbers and all that, they could be really useful. You take them, you join them with Alexandria, you join that with the Hilltop and with the Kingdom. All of a sudden, you have a pretty strong joint community force here that could give Negan and these Saviors a good run for their money. Absolutely. And we'll do a couple more. Julie Cruz says, Travis, so at the end of the first half of Season 7, only approximately 1 week has passed since the deaths of Glenn and Abraham. Seems like a really slow pace from March to War, etc. At this rate, it will take 2 seasons before All Out War even starts. Well, you know, I don't know about that. Maybe a season. And you're right, it's been a slower paced season. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. I mean, it is. And yeah, you know, there's just so much stuff going on. There's so many characters, there's so many locations, so much stuff going on that you know, it's a different pacing than what we're used to for Walking Dead. But that's probably because of the scale being adjusted, bigger, a more of you know, kind of macro type view, zoom out a little bit more, not so micro about Rick and the others surviving in a prison, and there's only like a dozen of them or so. There's a lot of characters in this story now for sure. Flivid says, not sure if you've answered this already, but say that Dwight let Daryl go. What do you think Negan is going to do when he finds out? And when do you think he'll figure it out? And I guess we'll end with this one. So, man, yeah, he should figure it out pretty much right away because he's kind of always using Daryl to clean up piss or do something like that. So when he finds out he's gone, Negan is going to be really pissed. Will he hurt Dwight or will he do something to Dwight? You might slap him around a bit, but I think he has taken a liking to Dwight, so I don't think he'll burn the other half of his face or anything. But, yeah, he's going to be pissed. Maybe Dwight will try to go out there after him or something. You know, if he was the one who freed him, maybe fake it and act like he went after him, wasn't able to get him. So we'll see what happens with it and what Negan's punishment for Dwight is. Probably just slapping him around a little bit, so we'll see. And, yeah, so that'll be it for this video, guys. I'll see you again tonight, of course. So, you know, hopefully tonight is a really good episode. Hopefully a little bit of that buzz comes back for Walking Dead that we're used to over this many seasons. I'm used to it every year, and I can feel it. I'm sure it's not just me. I think you guys are feeling it too. Sometimes, like right now, the buzz just isn't the usual. So, if you guys like this video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite if you're new. Hey, you're new. You want to subscribe? Bottom left, click the subscribe button. And check out another video here if you guys want to see any. If you missed any this week, click the video right here and check out another video. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you tonight. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. You can share, you can favorite, you can subscribe. Hell, you're all going to be doing that.